Hey, this is WhyBeAre with BeamNG.drive, and today we're going to be taking a look at a mod called the Ibishu Kashira. So yes, this vehicle does use the Ibishu name, but it is not an official vehicle. Now, as you can see, there are a lot of different vehicle options here, some of them more interesting than others, but we're going to be starting off with the 2.5DX, which is the base inline 4 model with just enough power for getting the groceries. And I'm really interested in this mod because this is the first minivan that I can remember driving in BeamNG.drive. You'd be like, WhyBeAre, what about the 8 series? Well, that's not a minivan. That's just a van. So to give you an idea of what I mean, let me go ahead and spawn up an 8 series right next to this so you can see the size difference between these. We're just going to get a normal H15, nothing fancy, nothing extra large, just as small and normal as the H15 gets. And I'm going to park this thing as close as I can to this without actually crashing into it. So real careful right here. We can get a little closer. That looks close. So right here, look at this comparison. That's a minivan, and the 8 series behind it, that's a van. It is much bigger. And next I want to spawn up an Ibishu Kashira right next to this thing, so we're going to go ahead and get one, and I want it to be the exact same color, so I think champagne is the same color. And the interesting thing about these vehicles is they have very similar dimensions. So I'm going to line these up so their wheels are lined up, and you can see the wheelbase is the same, the length of the vehicle is the same, the width of the vehicle is the same. They follow the same design on the front. They both look very similar from that angle. And it's worth mentioning the Kashira is supposed to be built on the same platform as the Ibishu Kashira. But I don't know if that means the mod is actually based on the Kashira or if that's just there to give a story element to the game and just kind of have an interesting tidbit as to why the vehicles would have such similar dimensions. Anyways, we're doing a 0 to 60 test right here, and we're there. So 0 to 60 in this takes about 11 or 12 seconds based on that little hand count thing I did right there. That could be like plus or minus 5 seconds knowing how inaccurately I can count. And kind of funnily, we're still going flat out, and I haven't let up on the gas yet, and I haven't touched the brakes or anything. We've just been flooring it this whole time. And this is about the speed it goes when you do that. We just can't go much faster because it doesn't have enough power. Thankfully, of course, there are more powerful versions which we should drive. But first, we got to wreck this thing, and I see an interesting way to do that. We're going to try to ride up on the mountain right here. Nice, and we're flying, and this is gonna crash. Good. A little bit of roof damage even. First off, though, that front damage, yeah, that looks pretty reasonable. Side damage right there, all right. Squatted a little bit when I accelerated. Roof damage right there, how's that look? That looks fine, and then there's the other side as well, and we can go ahead and reset this. And we can go ahead and take a look at the inside of this thing, so there's everything you would like to see in terms of interior functionality. It is a little dark, though, so we're gonna turn on the headlights, and you can see the gauges light up. And we even have a high beams light, which has extra light on the dash. And as we accelerate, all the gauges work as you'd expect. We also have the steering wheel steering as you would expect. And then down below, the pedals do work. We also have a functional handbrake right here, and you can see it going up and down and up and down. There's also a light on the dash lighting up and going dark. And when we accelerate, you'll notice it actually shifts into gear. So if you watch the handle right there, it just went down, and then it goes back up when it goes into park or neutral or something. I don't know which gear it's in for sure because I've never driven a car with that kind of transmission shifting thing before. Transmission shifters should be over there. Anyways, we have just the interior looks as well. So you can see it has a nice little pattern by the door handle right there. And this actually has 3 rows of seats. We got the row we're in, and then the row behind us. And then we got another row behind that, which is really tiny. And it's because it's in between the wheels. So tiny and cramped, you can only fit like children back there, but it's still neat that it has that much seating. It's kind of like a Mazda 5 in terms of size. Like, that is a true minivan compared to a lot of the more bigger minivans. Now, there's actually a different type of seating you sometimes see in some models, and it just depends on which one you get. So something like the 2.5 LX all-wheel drive has bucket seats in the middle, where the one we were just driving had bench seats. So you can see what that looks like right there. That's the bucket seats. And then for comparison, here are the, well, okay, that doesn't exactly work out, does it? We'll get that out of the way, and then let's just go ahead and crash this thing. You saw the seats already once. I don't need to go back to them. We're going to do an interior crash real quickly. We're going to go around this thing, get up to speed. Hopefully we're going a decent speed. I mean, it's not a fast vehicle, but with this big area to get up to speed, we're going to be doing enough. And we'll do about, how about 16 times slow-mo on the crash right here. Looks like it's going to hit nice. Whoa, that's not what's supposed to happen. Huh. I guess that's not a real wall, so I really can't say if that's what the crash should or shouldn't look like, because that's just kind of a glitchy crash, unfortunately. But here's a look at the damage anyways. In the end, I don't see any glitches with it, but I don't know what to think about it, so we'll reset it. And we could give it a little bit of an upgrade. So let's swap the 2.5DX out for the 2.5DX all-wheel drive, which has a few upgrades, one of which is obviously the fact that it's all-wheel drive. It also has front and rear limited slip differentials. When we were driving before, it had an open differential, so it's a little bit more fun to slide around the corners like that. I'll try to slide it in a bit, but we got to get up to speed first. It also doesn't have the trim on the side that's black. It's painted with the vehicle, so it just looks a little bit cleaner and a little bit more modern to me. Like, when I see the black stripe on the side of the car, it just makes it feel old to me. All right, we're going to try to tap the corner right here with a little drift. Beautiful. That was actually really good. That was exactly what I wanted. So we have the all-wheel drive, right? Let's make use of the all-wheel drive. We're going to go straight through the dirt and then straight off the cliff. And we'll have a big crash in this mine right here. Maybe I'll get a little bit of slow-mo into it as well. Maybe 16 times. Nice. Got some parts flying everywhere. Go ahead and speed things up and then let it fall as far as it'll go. I think that's going to be the end. Yep. So taking a look at the damage here, that side has been flattened, but that was a really hard crash, so that is to be expected. And then over on this side, it looks not too bad. All right, go ahead and reset this. And now it's time for another upgrade. This time we're going to go with the 2.5 LX, which is the mid-trim model equipped with a turbocharged inline 4. So it's the exact same engine, but it has a turbo strap to it. And then in addition to that, it also has this sporty looking spoiler on it right there. See, this one, you know it's fast because it has that. That one, that's a boring slow van. Sporty fast van. Boring slow van. Fast van. So let's take this fast van and go for a little bit of a drive. Now this thing is front wheel drive again. There's an all-wheel drive version, and I feel like you would be a fool to get this one and not the all-wheel drive one, because this thing just lights up the tires non-stop when you floor it. Like, if I swerve back and forth right here, you can just leave skid marks the whole way because it has too much power for the amount of traction it has. If we had all-wheel drive, we might be able to do that, but it would be a lot harder. We probably have to tap the e-brake as we did that. Right there, I was literally just going left, right, left, right, left, right. That was it. And you see, as we go around these corners and we floor it, it's not doing too well either because it still has the open differential, actually. Like, you don't get the limited slip differential in this version. No, open differential, so it makes the handling that much worse. Again, you would have to be a complete fool to get the LS and not get the all-wheel drive version, I feel like. But at least it exists if you want to be that fool with the weird front-wheel drive van that just has too much power for its own good. Here's another corner. And yeah, it's not happening. So let's do this jump, although I think this is a big jump, so try to kind of cut it short. Oh yeah, there was no way it was going to make that, but we made it to the land over here. That's at least promising, although we did destroy the van. Can I get a look at the damage right there? That seems pretty reasonable on that side. How'd the other side fares? Any damage over there? Nope, pretty much unharmed. All right, so let's bring this thing back to before the jump. That way we are still driving on some different terrain than the same one we were driving on before. And then we'll go ahead and grab the all-wheel drive version of the LX. That way I get that little bit more traction that I was desiring. Plus it gets to be in red. Who doesn't like a good red vehicle? So this thing should accelerate a little bit better because I feel like the acceleration on the other one was slightly traction limited. But the biggest thing is that it'll handle a lot better. So like we go around this corner right here, and yeah, it's still understeering a bit, but it actually gets around the corner still. The other one is like I gotta tap the e-brake on every single corner, it feels like, to really get the turn in how much I want. This one, I don't really feel like I actually need to do that. So like right here, I want to turn in a little tighter. It does that, no problem. And we got four-wheel drive, so we can cut that corner right through, no problem. Yes, I will admit, that corner was much tighter than I thought it was, but the four-wheel drive is there for a reason. Not only does it make a corner better, it also makes it off-road capable. To be able to cut through the corners a little bit, like right here, just cut through that a little bit, bounce it around just a tiny bit. That's what it's there for. And now let's do something that's not exactly what the four-wheel drive is for. Super off-roading. We're gonna fly over some trees even and hit a tree. A little bit of fire going on now. Alright, so that's kind of more of a front impact than anything. And take a look at the damage. So in addition to the fire, we have a lot of damage there and a lot of damage there, but all of it seems reasonable because we were flying through the air for a really hard impact. We also got some damage on the rear as well, and we'll reset this. And then we'll get another upgrade. This one is going to be a different engine though. This is the 3.5 ZX, which is the high-end model equipped with a single overhead cam V6. It's actually not that much faster than the one we were just driving though. Except this is exclusively front-wheel drive again, so that means it's time to leave skid marks everywhere I go, no matter what, even if I don't want to. At least, you know, with the way I drive, that's pretty much how it goes. Just skid marks, skid marks, skid marks. Handles just as bad as the other one, but it does have V6 engine power, which means it's actually more front-heavy, which probably makes it plow even harder and understeer even worse. now that I think about that. So if I had the choice between the 2.5 LX and the 3.5 ZX, both of which would be front-wheel drive, I would probably choose the 2.5, which sounds so wrong, but honestly, I just have no reason whatsoever to be driving this version over the other one. Also, I should mention, all vehicles do have custom engine sounds, so I'll let you listen to that for a little bit. Alright, I think you have a good idea of how this thing sounds, so let's just find a cliff to drop it off of. Maybe here? Not exactly. Is it going to land upright? I bet no. Maybe? No, that thing is firmly on its roof and doing a little bit of a spin, but we can flip it upright real quickly. We'll just grab it by the side and grab it one more time by the middle because that wasn't quite enough. And there we go. We should be able to keep driving, I would think. And yeah, it's accelerating no problem. Might not be driving great, but we can accelerate it to get one more crash. And ooh, that was a nice one right into the sign. And it tore that thing up. All right. Damage looks reasonable, so we'll reset it. And then we're going to replace it with the 3.5 ZX all-wheel drive, because this is a vehicle that really deserves the all-wheel drive. And we're going to go ahead and actually take it for some off-roading. Conveniently, there's a path right here we could go ahead and try out. So we don't have like a bunch of ground clearance or anything here, but we got all-wheel drive and we got some horsepower. We got like 200 horsepower at the peak, so that should be enough to go through here. It's not like it's a rock climb or anything like that, just some bumpy dirt roads for the most part. Eventually we'll have to stop. Is that on fire? Yes, this thing has caught fire apparently. Wow. It does not like off-roading at all. It's like, how dare you try to off-road me? I'm gonna catch on fire. I think actually there's some water up here. Yeah, so I can actually put the fire out if I'm careful enough. So just gonna try to dip the front of the car without drowning it. So just like that and pull it out. Pull it out. Oh, come on. It almost worked. I can't seem to, yeah, it's stuck, isn't it? Maybe if I don't steer at all because I'm steering too much. No, that didn't help at all either. Okay, well, we're in the water no matter what. I don't think we can go through the water, but we'll give it a shot. Try to hug the edge where it's a little bit more shallow because this thing can't go deep in the water. It doesn't have a snorkel or anything like that. And we're stuck again, aren't we? Yeah, this is not working out well. I'm gonna be permanently stuck in the water, so you know what? Let's just accept our fate and try to go straight through it. And, well, yeah, that didn't work at all. Alright, well, I think that'll do it for this map. We're gonna go ahead and swap over to one that's a little bit more fitting for the fast versions of the vehicle. So we're gonna go to Hirochi Raceway. And the first version we're going to be driving on the track is the fastest stock version. It's the 3.5 GTZ all-wheel drive, so it's equipped with a powerful V6 and sports suspension. The GTZ is the ultimate Kashira, at least, you know, in terms of stock ones. So in addition to that, it also has upgraded brakes, an upgraded suspension, and then a different grille ever so slightly. Now, interestingly enough, this is not available in front-wheel drive, and it has the exact same engine as the one we were just driving. It's no fast in a straight line. It just has a better suspension setup, and you do feel it. When you go around the corners, this thing actually goes around the corners. It doesn't really feel that much like a van when you drive it. All the other ones, they kind of felt like a van. They didn't really feel like they were really sporty, and they always kind of felt like they were really front heavy. This one, a little bit less so. I mean, it'll still kind of be front heavy when you do something like that, and it'll just kind of plow forward and understeer, but it drives a ton better than every other version we've driven so far, and it can do some fun things on a track. It actually feels all right here. Doesn't feel great, but it feels all right. The other ones, they would just feel weird on a track, I would think, but you can do things like this. Come on, and next one, nice and smooth. See, that looked pretty good. It was nice and smooth around the corners. I can't top that with this version. That's as good as it's gonna get, so now that we've done that, it's time to say bye-bye to this version. As we crash into the wall, we'll do 16 times slow-mo so you can see it deform a bit. A lot of front roof damage right there. It popped up. And did the windshield stretch a little bit? I don't think so. I think it's okay. So I'll reset it and then we'll get the first real racing version. It's called the Scrapyard Racer and it's old Kashira chassis fitted with go fast parts. Lots of fun, but very prone to over torque if you're not careful. Now, what is over torque? Let me show you. It basically means the engine's trying to put down too much power because there's too much boost, and then it blows up. And we're going to try to blow this thing up, and then I'll give you guys a look at what this thing actually looks like because it does look quite ridiculous. But first, full power ahead. There we go. Over torque damage, engine permanently damaged. And when they say permanently damaged, they don't mean just damaged. They mean broken. This thing will no longer drive. So now I'll reset it and then we'll actually take a look at it. So really a stripped down body. It doesn't even have doors or even a hood or glass. It is super stripped down, has a roll cage in it, and then it has some racing suspension parts on it to make it handle better. So now we're going to try to drive it without it exploding, which sounds a lot easier than you would think. So what I'm doing is I'm basically using no more than half throttle at all times. And even then it already says over torque on the engine, warning, warning. So half throttle can be a little bit too much when you're going around the corner and it kind of bounces off the rev limiter a little bit. I think that is truly the problem with this thing. They strapped a big turbo to a weak engine. This isn't one of those inline fours that you can boost up to the moon and back. This is one that gives a little bit of boost and then it dies. All right, you know what? Let's go ahead and unleash the beast. We're going to go ahead and do full throttle right here and see how long it'll last. And it's, well, it didn't blow up yet. I figured it might blow up already, but it's still going. I think what actually happened is it kind of got damaged on the over torque risk from earlier. So now the transmission can't figure out exactly what gear to be in, and it's not blowing up as fast because of that. So it's saving itself for a while. I know it can't do it forever. It has to blow up eventually the way I'm flooring it right here. Come on. Ah, there we go. It blew up, crashed into the wall. Nice. Take a quick look at the damage before we reset it. And we'll go to the next one on the list, which is the sleeper version. So this one looks pretty normal, but despite its appearance, this old minivan packs quite a punch with a stage 2 turbo and suspension upgrades. Just be sure to go easy on the throttle. Why go easy on the throttle? Well, the same reason as the last one, but not nearly as bad. This one you actually have to try to over torque it. I can floor it through all the corners and drive it aggressively, and I don't have anything to worry about. But if I was to like intentionally not shift and really rev this engine super hard, yeah, you probably blow it up. But this one only goes up to about 22, 23 PSI, where the other one was hitting 30 plus PSI. And that's truly the big difference here. So this is all-wheel drive, and it's actually based on the inline 4 version. Both of the ones we were just driving were based on the inline 4, and the V6 is actually not turbocharged in any version of the vehicle at this time. Although it sounds like in the future, the V6 might have a turbocharger equipped version, but right now we just have the turbo on the inline 4, and oops, we just cut that corner a little bit. Thankfully we have all-wheel drive. That's what it's for, right? All right, so that kind of damaged it up a little bit, and it's shameful to drive a damaged vehicle. So into the same wall we crashed the other one. It even has like the same color in the crash, and it looks identical. Actually, we hit it a little bit slower, so it looks a little bit more intact, doesn't it? Anyways, we'll reset this one, we'll drive it around a little bit more, because I feel like I didn't drive this one around as much as I should have. Because this version is better to drive than the GTZ on the track, because it has some race suspension parts, but it's not like a full race suspension setup like the one we were just driving in the Scrapyard Racer. And whoa, we're going a little too fast for that corner. So I kind of overestimated the vehicle's abilities there. I won't do that again. Now I know exactly what its capabilities are, and we're going to go through this without crashing it. Hopefully a decent speed. You know, I could just wimp out and go at 10 miles per hour, but we're going to try to stick it around 50 miles per hour because that feels like that's the safe speed for this thing. Yeah, there we go. But it has, like I said, an upgraded suspension that makes it just a bit more fun to drive. It also has a better radiator too, so it doesn't overheat or anything. I assume the bigger turbo required that. And there is a nice crash, and ooh, it could actually keep driving. Let's keep trying with that. Can I get traction? There we go. The transmission was just a little confused because it couldn't get any traction, but we're good to go now. And there's another wall right up there. It looks appealing, don't it? Hello, wall. And nope. Goodbye, car. That kills the car completely. The minivan is dead. So then we'll go ahead and reset it and take a look at the next one we're going to be driving, which is the most fun looking one. It's the Custom, which is a highly tuned LX all-wheel drive equipped with a larger turbo and racing parts. So this one actually has an even more aggressive suspension setup than the Sleeper. It has the spoiler because it ain't trying to be no sleeper. It wants people to know that it's a fast vehicle. And then it also has a better transmission that's a lot more well suited for the vehicle. Although the PSI on this one doesn't go nearly as high. You see it tops out at about 10 PSI, but it feels a little bit better to drive because of the transmission obeying you a little bit more and the suspension being a little bit more aggressive for the track. You know, we're slowly getting up to the full race version, which will either be the next one or the one following that. I can't remember if rally or race is next. Tell you what, no matter what, the next one we do will be the race version. Let's see if we can get this thing up to 100 miles per hour on the straight. Not gonna make it. 90 miles per hour, and there's a corner here, so not a chance. That is a broken Kashira. A pretty one, but a broken one. So I'll bring it back, and bring it back, there we go. And how about we do a little bit of fun with this? So we're going to spawn up the race version, which is a somewhat unconventional track car based upon the GTZ and equipped with racing parts. So this is as serious as it gets, but it's actually slower in a straight line than that one, it feels like. Like, I don't know if it's just an illusion, but it doesn't feel as fast. So we're going to do a little test here. We're going to say freeze physics, accelerate, and we'll see which one is actually faster here. And right here you can see the race one is ever so slightly slower until, well, we have a collision of two idiots because one of them can't actually even steer. So now we know not only is the custom feel faster, it actually is faster. So now I'm going to try to chase them down and see what happens with that. Looks like they're going to go to the curvy area. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to stay as close as I can to them without actually hitting them. And that's a little bit farther than I want to be right now because they have a faster car in a straight line. But I'll catch up to them soon enough in this corner right here. There we go. So now I'm just going to try to stay about this distance from them. You know, safe enough where if the AI does sudden braking, I won't rear end them because the AI does do that sometimes where they brake way earlier than I expect and then I ram into them when I'm trailing them too closely. It's just a nice, comfortable distance. Like right there, they actually brake pretty reasonably, so maybe I could go a little bit closer to them. Well, I can't because they accelerate harder than me. There we go. I'm up nice and close to them. Now, it's hard because they just accelerate that tad bit more. And I have to kind of stay at the same speed as them, but then once we're at the same speed, they're going to go faster than me. So, instead, how about we have a little bit of a, that's a fight. There's a fight to be had here. You get your butt over here. You ain't getting away from me. Nuh-uh. Nuh-uh. Get hit. Okay, this is like a disappointing crash, ain't it? Here's a new plan to make the crash more interesting. Let them do whatever they want. In fact, let's reset them both so they got fresh cars. You can go wherever you want, dude. I don't care anymore because I'm going to fool you. You're going to go away, right? And you think, oh, I'm going to win. But then, this is where the trickery comes in. Tell you to come get me, and I hope you don't crash in the trees. Oh, goodness, he crashed in the trees. Oh, goodness, he crashed in the trees twice. Okay, this guy needs a little bit of help here because he doesn't understand trees. Whoops, that's, well, good enough? Alright, good. Now he should be coming to me. Hopefully he can steer. It looks like he's steering fine. And I'll come at him, and we'll crash into each other with a nice head-on collision. Oh, it's going to be like right in the shadow, annoyingly. There we go. Kind of underwhelming, unfortunately, actually, but we can try to take a look at the damage as they push us into the light so we can actually see things. That is convenient. Thank you very much, other Ibishu. So damage overall looks pretty reasonable, and they're going for round 2. You know what? You want to get under me so badly? Fine, I'll let you get under me. But I'm going to go way above you. Uh-oh, no, we're stuck together. Nope, this is not yet. Wait. Wait. This is what I wanted to do. Nope, I wanted to put my car on top of yours. Get back here. You stay right there. I want you to go on top of them. You know, I don't care if the AI, what they're doing, I'm going to make it where my car goes on top of them now. That's my new goal. So I'm just going to park it right below me and then drop it. Actually, I could kind of push it forward, can't I? Let's see what that does. Oh, this thing doesn't have good steering right now, though. Okay, push it. You know what? Let's just get a new one. And we're going to push it forward. Oh, this will look good. It's like a punching bag. Look at this. It's like a punching bag. Like, boom. Get out the way. That's awesome. It's dumb, but it's awesome. Do it again. Do it again. Here we go. Round 2. Into the punching bag. One more round. Final round. It's like, how's this a round, right? You know, it's not exactly a fair fight, is it? Because they are a punching bag. I don't care. Nobody said this is going to be a fair fight. It's a fun fight. That's what it is. Wah! Get out of the way, fool. It looks like they're flipping over. They're actually just on a hinge, basically. Alright, so the next version we're going to be taking a look at is the rally one. There's no real good rally areas around here. So how about we just make our way quickly to a map that has some rally areas. I'm trying to debate right here where exactly I want to go, but I think Small Island, USA will fit the bill well. And for the rally version, it's also using just the V6 engine. You might think, oh, the rally's going to have a big old turbo on it. No, it doesn't. It's basically very, very similar to the race version we were just using. And ooh. Was that a fluke, or is there some sort of issue with this thing reversing and steering at the same time? There's some sort of issue. Okay, well, don't do that. This is a rally version. We can do a little bit of off-roading to get to the destination, I guess. Right? Not quite. Not quite. And then it just broke again. Maybe there's something wrong with the rally version. To be honest, I did not drive the rally one that much. We'll have to do a little bit of testing out right here. I mean, if the front suspension breaks all the time and I backed up again. It's just instinct. It's like, you know, you've done that for years. That's just the normal thing to do. But now all of a sudden, that's not what you do when your car's too far forward. You don't back up. Don't back up. Just keep going forward no matter what. Can I hit the brakes okay? Yeah, the brakes are fine. Ooh, and the steering is really fast. I bet that's what it is. It seems like it has like a quick ratio of steering on it that's probably causing it. Because I remember, I'm pretty sure, in addition to having mud flaps, which I gotta actually show you real quickly. Whoop, we just broke a tire. There's mud flaps on it though, as I was saying. Aren't they cute? They don't flap around, unfortunately. They're the solid plastic kind. But there's mud flaps, and there's also a skid plate, so that's that piece of metal right there that protects the engine. And I'm thinking it also has a faster steering setup that might make it where it's breaking itself to pieces. Anyways, time to race with this thing. And of course, it does have a rally suspension. I mean, you can kind of tell because of the way it looks. It looks a little bit more lifted than normal. Oh goodness, this isn't where I'm supposed to be. Good thing it has good capabilities. Like, this is one of my favorite ways to actually test the suspension of a vehicle like this. You just kind of drive around Somalia in the USA, not on the roads, because it has a bunch of bumps like this where it'll get you in the air every now and then, but it's not going to make you fly where it'll destroy the vehicle. It'll just test the suspension, actually. So let's see if we can get something like right here. Like, look, a little bit of air, not a huge flight, just to test the suspension. Same thing right there. That is really what my favorite part of this map is just this random area that's not even a road. It works great for that, although right here, that's a big one. All right, there goes the wheel axle once again, which means we lost steering. And I want to just drown it. I'm going to drown it. We're going to the water. We're going to hide the car. Nobody's ever going to find the car now. We'll finish things up with your guys' favorite, the fan favorite, Brutal Slope, followed by Leap of Death. And for this one, I want to use one without a roll cage, but also, you know, always want a fast version. So we're going to go with the 3.5 GTZ, and we're going to get it in a solar yellow. That sounds like a nice color. It might be the same yellow they use on the race version. Possibly. Maybe it's a little bit paler. I don't know. The one on the race version almost looks a little bit gold. This one definitely looks more on the yellow side of things. Anyways, full speed ahead. And this thing has the gears. Look at that. This thing is actually geared to go 150 miles per hour. It wasn't geared to go the fastest I'm going right now, because it's way over revving. We're going to hit that wall at about 220 miles per hour. And we're going to get the slow-mo going right now. Wait. No. Crash. Bye-bye, car. Bye-bye. Yeah, okay. Maybe we'll chat with the roll cage as well, because there's nothing left. It's not a rear engine vehicle. Look at that. The engine's like, it's actually behind the wheels, isn't it? Yeah. The engine is a little bit behind the wheels. It's not just mid-engine. It is rear engine. So bring it back up. Get a roll cage version. Doesn't matter which. How about just, I think the race version will probably have a better transmission setup. If we get the rally one, it might be short gear compared to this one. Careful. Careful. And floor it. So this one geared to go as fast. Actually, this thing has shorter gears than the other one, doesn't it? But it has 6 gears. The top speed is still lower, though, because we're topped out at about 130 with this version. I have to go ahead and just cut it so the engine doesn't blow up. That means the overall speed might be a little bit lower, but thankfully, most of the speed is coming from gravity, so we're still going to be going 200 plus miles per hour. And let's do something we don't normally do. Let's do this one only 16 times slow-mo, which sounds like, oh, it's still going to be really slow, but it's not. It's going to be pretty fast. Check how fast it is. See how fast it is? That was pretty fast right there, wasn't it? And it did hold up a little bit better. There's a little bit more shape to the vehicle, but I mean, it was still a 200 mile per hour crash that obliterates the vehicle. But the engine is, well, it's a mid-engine vehicle now. Somewhere there's an engine. Is that the engine? No. What is that? Is that like part of the suspension, maybe? It kind of looks like it could be like part of the transmission? I don't know. It's just a mangled mess of polygons there. Whoa, what was that? There's something orange. What was that? Is that like a warning light in the car that was like inverted itself some crazy angle? I don't know, because if you go to the interior camera, I can't even tell which way is up anymore. All right, let's go ahead and head on to the final map of the video, which is going to be, as I already said, Leap of Death, if I can scroll the correct amount to get there. And for this place, I think the rally version makes the most sense because it'll have the most off-the-line power in the dirt area, and it'll also be the best to clear the jump so it doesn't get stuck, because sometimes when you do the jump there, you won't clear it and you'll get stuck on it. Doesn't happen often, but when you have a longer vehicle or a lower vehicle, it happens. I think this one would actually be fine, but better safe than sorry. So 50 plus miles per hour, nice. Solid air. It's flying through the air like a brick because, well, I mean, if you look at it, it's basically a brick. So we'll do this first one with no slow-mo, and we could actually clear it. Ooh, we got farther than I expected. And, well, now it's Not so much a vehicle anymore. It's kind of hard to tell because it's spiraling so hard, but it is damaged hard. Roll cage holding up though. We got shape. Never mind. I was gonna say we still got shape of a van to it. Now, you see the wreckage? Yeah, you wouldn't know that was a van. It almost looks like a sedan. Like the Pessima that it's based on. And this is with the roll cage actually. For the no slow-mo, or for the slow-mo one I mean, we're gonna go ahead and remove the roll cage to get maximum destruction. So, in the water now. Nice and squished. Bring it back up. Go to the parts menu real quickly. And then we'll say roll cage bye-bye. Where is roll cage actually? I gotta find it. There it is. One thing I haven't mentioned is the cargo version because it was kind of boring. So, you know, this is the perfect time to do that, right? The cargo version is basically this. It has no back seats. Otherwise, it's the same exact one we were driving at the very start of the video. I just kind of forgot about it. Anyways, here we go. Full speed ahead. 55 miles per hour. Flying nicely. Let's see how this goes. Although I kind of wish I had rear seats. Don't you wish I had rear seats in this? Like right now? Like it would make it fly better, wouldn't it? Too late now. If we went a little bit slower, we could kind of like smoothly go down the cliff. That would be cool. I don't know how fast we'd have to go, but it'd be close to the speed we were going right there. Our first impact, and it has now become kind of a wagon shape right there. Yeah, it definitely looks more like the body of a wagon than a van. Engine is still attached, thankfully. Actually is doing a little bit better than I expected. Thought it'd be really wrecked because of how bad the roll cage one fared. I guess it just got lucky in the initial crash. Now it's flat, though. It is completely flat. I don't even think it's worth seeing it go all the way down, but it's only going to take like 5 more seconds. So we'll let it happen real quickly. And now it has happened. Got a little bit of a U shape to it without the roll cage reinforcing it. We still need to go pretty fast to actually do this, though. So I'm going to be flooring it almost the whole way, I'm thinking. Like, just at the end, we're going to slow down just a little bit. So here we go. Same strategy, just a little bit slower. I just hope that we clear it and we don't crash into it. Oh, it's going to be so close. It's going to be so close. We've cleared it. Now, can we get smooth? Smooth. Smooth. Yes! Oh, that was beautiful. That was perfect. This thing is, like, for what it just went through, it's basically unharmed. Nice, clean flight, and it's going to make it all the way to the water, isn't it? This is amazing. This is one of the best leap of deaths I have ever done. Wow. That was beautiful. Can't end on a better note than that. So until next time, this has been WhyBeAre. I'll see ya.